The title of our lesson, Using Weakness of Prayer to Defeat Power. The war on Ukraine has begun. War in Europe in the 21st century seems impossible. It seems simply a plot of a bad movie or a second-rate summer TV series. The risks of an escalation are unimaginable, as slowly all come to the understanding, the full realization that Putin will not stop with Ukraine if he takes it over, but will turn then to the Baltic states, the former countries of, quote, his Soviet Union. Putin will then add some of the states of Western Europe to be a buffer between the strong NATO powers and the new, strong, and vital Soviet Union. And the world community sending supplies to help, support, house, feed, and provide medical care for the refugees include the top US personnel of the 4 branches of the Quartermaster Division, by whatever branch it represents. The humanitarian aid is set aside for the Kyiv or are there for other cities under bombardment where the citizens can't leave. Neither can they receive food, medical care, or assistance or anything else. But the eyes of the world are now open, watching closely all of the movements of Russia, so that they can be stopped with traditional armaments, ground troops with air support. While this is happening in all of the highest offices of the world, we are now called to counter the power of these arms with the weakness of prayer. There are some that couldn't believe a war in Europe again. It was a full century on from the first, come and gone. Had we learned nothing? A war was not only improbable, it was impossible, with so many countries now gone fully nuclear. There are already many dead. After only 14 days at the time of this writing, and the dead include so very many innocent dead, it makes a lot of sense to bomb schools, daycare centers, maternity homes and hospitals, and other places that are specific to women and very young children only. Because we've all seen those killer toddler units. We've all seen how effective the toddlers and pre-K and first graders are in those small spaces, so restrictive that only a small child could go in there and detonate all the tanks as they rolled up, or scaring the Russian soldiers as they come into the city. Marching thousands of little children as the soldiers come in with their weapons, their tanks, their missiles, and their airplanes. Yeah, as if. The fears of a bloodbath have not yet come to fruition, but it's been damned close. As the Russian military continues, the bloodbath becomes more likely. The usual victims in such a bloodbath are in massive supply, as Russian military has violated every ceasefire for the civilians to walk out of harm's way or to get food. These thousands of innocent, defenseless victims want nothing more than to live in peace with everyone, even if they have a different flag. I am very sorry for all of these jets. The Air Force National Guard, these are their planes. So I have no warning when they're going to come. I'm very sorry. The powerful care nothing for the weak who are perishing. There are many cynical Herods about. The slaughter of the innocents has not stopped. After the suffering caused by the pandemic, we now see the grief of a conflict, and who knows how far it will degenerate. Some have evoked the risks of a third world war. We continue to believe it is impossible. We continue to think that humanity will not be so foolish as to fall into it once more. But a third world war would be very short between the United States and the crazy man in the Kremlin. He would go nuclear within a month. Because war is madness. It is irrational. It is demonic. The devil desires to destroy life, wants to destroy the world. But then what would he do? Today, he has enough lethal arms to achieve his goal more than 50 times over. We must not take world peace for granted. We must not take world peace for granted, ever. Pope Francis, filled with anguish and worry, has called for prayer and fasting for peace, has called for the weakness of prayer to counter the power of arms. Who would believe it? Who would oppose the meek asceticism against the strength of cannons? Prayer unites us to the Father. It makes all us sisters and brothers in Christ. Fasting takes something away from us in order to share it with others, even if the other is an enemy. Prayer is the real revolution that changes the world because it changes their hearts. We have few resources against war without bearing direct responsibility for them. The devil foments them with hatred, cunning, and weakness. This kind of demon, Jesus says, never comes out except by prayer and fasting. So we must now all get down on our knees. If your knees ache, then sit on the floor. Do something so that you are not comfortable when you pray. I can't sit in a pew because of my back. When I have gone to church in the past, I will come away needing near hospitalization because of the pain. But I will go to church and I will sit in that pew so that the Lord will see that as a part of my fasting, I give him my pain. And I request more so that he may take the pain of others, of those in Kyiv, especially I beg of him, give me the pain of the children. Give me the pain of those 57 infant bodies pulled out of that maternity home and the hospital for mothers and infants. Give me their pain. Give me the pain of their mothers with the unborn in their bodies, killed. I will help them so that you, Lord, may keep alive the rest of the nearly 300 babies, both born and unborn, and so that you may help those mothers, both delivered and undelivered of their precious package. Give me their pain, Lord. I can take it. And of my people listening, many of them, Lord, will willingly take the pain of a child and hold that pain in their arms, like they are comforting the 14-year-old who went ahead to look if it was safe, and her 12-year-old and 11-year-old siblings were killed behind her. She is the only one left of her family. We, Lord, will take her pain so that you may comfort her. But her pain is not there because we bear it. We will bear the pain of the refugees. We will bear the pain so they can be clear-headed and focus on food, heat, shelter. And we will pray.